Shifting to the Middle East, the department continues to monitor the evolving situation in Syria and will work with our interagency partners and with regional stakeholders, including Jordan, Lebanon, Iraq, Turkey, and Israel. It's in our national security interest that Syria emerges from this dynamic period as a stable, secure, and sovereign state, and that the Syrian people have a say in determining what their future looks like. And it is also in our national security interest that ISIS can't exploit the ongoing situation on the ground, which is why the department has no force posture changes to announce in the region, and we maintain our current force posture presence in Syria to defeat and counter ISIS militants and protect our forces against any threats. Jeff.
Thanks very much. Two questions. One, with the airstrikes that CENTCOM and the U.S. carried out against ISIS in central Syria on Sunday, is there any updated assessment of who you hit, what you hit, how badly damaged ISIS is as a result? And then some Syrian Kurdish officials have said that since Golani, HTS, and the other rebels began their campaign and ultimately ousted the Assad regime, that they have seen an uptick in ISIS activity and in ISIS attacks and plotting. What is the Pentagon seeing from ISIS right now as you fear that it will try to take advantage of this situation?
Well, that is what we've been saying, is that we are concerned that ISIS would use the dynamics and the ongoing situation on the ground in Syria to try and take advantage of that, which is why we did what we did on Sunday. We at approximately 5 locations, we hit 75 targets with a number of different airframes and platforms to take out capabilities that ISIS would use, or we thought they could use, to try and take advantage of the situation that's unfolding on the ground. In terms of ISIS plots and planning, ISIS still remains a threat. I don't have anything to speak to in terms of an uptick of attacks, but you saw us take pretty significant action over the weekend, and we've been doing that, pre the fall of the Assad regime, and we're going to continue to do that as Syria goes through this transition political process.
Is the assessment then that those airstrikes have in fact deterred ISIS, at least since Sunday, of carrying out more attacks?
Well, again, we're taking capability off the map for them. So, what they choose to do, that's for them to speak to. I can only speak to what we did. And in terms of, I'm sorry, and you asked about our ongoing assessment of how successful those strikes are. Our initial assessment is that they were successful and that, we did kill a number of operatives, ISIS operatives in the desert, but it's going to take some time to get you more fidelity on the strikes. Sure.
Follow up on that. Mm-hmm. What is the U.S. military doing to protect the SDF from Turkey and Turkish airstrikes?
So, continuing to have conversations with our counterparts. And while I won't speak to any hypotheticals, we're going to continue to engage the SDF. We have ways to deconflict, of course. And the Secretary spoke recently to his Turkish counterpart, and I'm sure he'll continue to do so. Yes, at the back.
On those airstrikes over the weekend, categorically then you're saying that the U.S. only targeted ISIS military assets. You did not target any Syrian military assets.
We target the strikes over the weekend that happened on December 8th, targeted an ISIS camps and leaders that were operating in the Badiyah Desert.
And since then, you're not targeting Syria.
I have no other strikes to speak to today.
What is the Pentagon giving to Israel as it targets Syrian military assets and invades Syria?
So I would let Israel speak to its own operations. I think what you're referring to is the operations that they're conducting to eliminate what are threats to their security, which include, chemical weapons, missiles, rockets that the Assad regime controlled. They have legitimate security concerns. They have a right to self-defense. It is their own operations.
How much support are you giving them?
We're not giving them any support when it comes to those operations.
There's one thing you keep talking about. There's no change in the U.S. force posture in Syria. Under what legal authority, either international or national, does the U.S. have a force posture in Syria?
I'm sorry, what is the question?
Under what legal authority, either national or international, does the U.S. have a troop presence, a force posture?
We've had
Syria?
A troop presence and arrangement there for a number of years. Again, we continue to operate with the SDF to ensure the enduring defeat of ISIS. That has been our mission. That has been our mission from the very beginning. Jared.
So Again, on the Syria situation, there are some reports that Turkey-backed rebels near Manbij and Kobani have been still launching artillery and drone attacks in the area. And I think Raqqa today was hit with what the SDF said was a Turkish-backed drone attack. This is after the U.S. brokered the SDF withdrawal from Manbij, which the SDF is calling a ceasefire. I mean, how can the department ensure stability in eastern Syria and maintain security at the ISIS prisons if the department can't defend the SDF from SNA attack, or can they? I mean, is OIR authorized to do that, or is this left up to the State Department right now?
The OIR mission and scope still remains to defeat ISIS mission. That is in coordination and working with the SDF on the ground, whether it be partnered raids or other engagement activities. It is a partnership with the S to ensure that ISIS can no longer resurge to the threat that they were many, many years ago. Again, and I think I've answered this, but we're going to continue to engage with our Turkish counterparts. We're going to continue to work so that there is deconfliction. At the end of the day, though, the SDF is can speak to their own operations on where they're operating. We can only speak to our partnership with them when it comes to the de-ISIS mission.
And if I could just follow up, I'm wondering if you can confirm something we reported earlier, that a senior U.S. official told the SDF that the U.S. military cannot protect them if they do not withdraw from Manbij and relocate east of the Euphrates, that the U.S. cannot protect them in that area if they don't do that. Is that true?
Yeah, I can't confirm that. I'm not going to speak to an anonymous official's quote.